should have grabbed.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I have noted what you just said, but I'm going to assume it was something complimenting.
I was gonna say I should have grabbed a beer when I was up, but I didn't.
No, well, you went to bed, so no beer for you.
Wait,
Hey,
did you go to bed?
He
I
did.
was talking about in the real life.
Well, yeah, well, in game you're lame.
Yeah, I was talking about real life. In game, I'm
Yeah.
way cooler.
You totally ditched your dude that was said you were gonna pay for his drinks.
I'll probably show up.
So disrespectful of you and evil of you.
No. It's already canon. You went to bed. You're done. No, tell me
Okay.
that. You're like, I'll buy you
Good.
drinks, and
Actually,
he's
you
like,
know what?
yes,
Probably
and then you're like, if I show up,
That works. Hey,
loophole you.
I'd probably do it.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, Reno, he taps the bar, and to get a drink, and he's like, so, part of the army you serve. Big axe you got there.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's just for decoration.
Oh. Takes a step back, looking you down, then back up again. He says, I know a toned arm if I've seen one. You've swung that once or twice.
A few times.
Toned arm.
So, you fight the front lines?
Not necessarily. She's like really, really short with him, just kind of minding her own business.
Well, I understand the front lines aren't necessarily the place for a lady like yourself. But, for real soldiers. And he picks up the beer and does like a hard flex as he's like bringing it up to take a sip from it. He's like, ugh, but for real soldiers, we definitely fought hard up there. Killed tons. You can only imagine the dozens. But we conquered the lands. We, of course, strengthened the empire. Made things better. Liberated the people.
Yeah, sounds like it's a hard time trying to maintain that fragile masculinity.
What?
Where's the two?
Oh,
bullets?
nothing. Just a little thing that people in my town used to say.
You from around here? Or down south? Back east? Where you from? You from here, right?
I'm from around.
So, Vala or... Oh, I see. You're playing coy. I like that. Stay in the...
Stab him. Stab him. Stab him. Stab him. Sorry, what?
So you, drinking?
It would appear so.
He's like, looks around. Looks at the bartender. He's like, is there a draft in here? Because I'm feeling a bit cold right now. The bartender's like, I'm just going to mind my own business. Slide away. He looks at you. He's like, did I offend you?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to enjoy a simple beer in a simple tavern.
All right. Picks up his drink and walks off. He's like, mumbles something under his breath.
I'm now the bartender, and I'm offended that she called my tavern simple.
Wait a second.
He looks over. The fuck?
Then goes back to minding his own business, knowing he doesn't want to end it.
He was like,
She does have Bedelex though.
Pina glass.
She's gonna...
Anyway, sorry for interrupting. It just was amusing to me.
So as the night goes on, eventually, the place is going to be like, I gotta go to bed eventually. You people get out of here. And so your character goes to leave, spend the night in the inn. Now, is this going to be like well after midnight? Is this going to be like how long are you going to stay at the tavern, Rena?
this is pretty late. It's usually somewhere I frequent, so it's pretty late into the night. Nothing, seems like out of the ordinary besides that, interesting snake charmer earlier. But then as it gets later on, and after that interaction, it's time for bed.
Okay. So when you finally, as time passes or whatever, you finally go to leave. That other person got a bit rowdy and drank a bunch more or whatever. Eventually got the 6 drinks and drank all 6 of them because the person that was supposed to join him never showed up. Totally stood him up like a dick, and so he got a bit sloshed himself. So eventually, when you go to leave the tavern and start heading back towards the inn, you're probably halfway distance between the tavern and the inn, and it's not a very big space. It's a smaller town. You hear from behind you, drunken. Hey, I get it. You, girl with the nice axe.
Wait, did he say axe or ass? I need to know.
AXE.
Okay.
It was a bad pun.
Yeah, I got it. It was
Yep.
it was great. Just in Daelric fashion.
Solid.
You, do you turn to acknowledge, or do you just keep walking?
I just keep walking. I already know who it is.
You're from around here, aren't you? But from before it was civilized, when you barbarians were still running the place.
And
That's
kinda
what it
stops
is,
me
right?
A little.
Yep, go ahead.
It kind of stops me a little bit. Just interested to see what he's gonna dare to say next.
And now here you are, walking around like this is your land. But it's not. You're just a sheep in wolf's clothing. That's all you are, but I know meat when I smell it.
I have no idea what I'd say to that. Mostly, I would just be like, sir, I think that you could probably
I'm
have
gonna
something better to do.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to rest easy tonight. No problem. My bed, lie my head down, close my eyes, and think about all them screams. All them kills. Every time I swung my sword, it still happens. We still find some dirty, fucking filthy humans. And your kind. We still find them out on the roads. Just even traveling to here.
So
And
I kind of cut
probably-
him off a little bit at the end and take my great axe and kind of hit it against the ground so it makes a sound loud enough just to kind of like stop him from speaking.
Mhm.
And at this point, with my back still kind of turned to him, but I'd kind of look over and be like, well, if one were wise, one would stop speaking now. And this isn't just some antique that I picked up along the road.
Why don't you roll me an intimidation check?
Okay.
What time did Ophios get back? I'm really curious if he sees this.
He listens to your words. He's like, if one were wise, they would just forfeit their town rather than try to fight for it. Maybe then a couple thousand more of them would have lived.
So at this point, and sorry, like since I'm new to this, I don't really know if I can do this or not, but what I want to do is kind of kick the axe as if I were, preparing to swing it at him and kind of face it at him, the pointy end, and then spin it around and try to, the pointy one, and then spin it around and end up hitting him with like the butt of it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. In 5e, there's actually no, you can hit either way. It doesn't, like, lethal, non-lethal. You can do whatever you'd like, just an attack as attack.
I just want it to be like a, whoop, like, but it'll be enough to knock him over, I hope.
Now, do you want to actually physically attack him in the sense that I want to roll an attack roll and hit with damage? Or are you looking to do something more like what you're saying, knock him over, which is more like an athletics check?
Yeah, an athletics check, I would say.
Okay, well, now, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you roll an initiative really quickly. Now, give me 1 second to set this up. And so for me to do that, I'm going to hide this down here. And this goes over here. So what you do to do initiative is you're actually going to click your token, and which is on the top part of the map. And then you're on your character sheet, after you highlight your token, on your character sheet, you're going to hit initiative. And I'm going to do the same, except I'm going to do it with, because I'm drunk, disadvantage.
Is Ophios witnessing
No.
this?
You're off having your
Okay, I didn't know. I figured he was still out in the field, but I wanted to see. I wish he was. This would interest him.
So I'm hitting initiative on my character sheet. Sorry.
Correct.
Yeah, hit
After
the
you've
actual-
highlighted your mini, correct. Perfect. Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Oh my god. You guys can see my result already on the thing. It's an 18 to a 4. So you definitely can go first. So more or less what it is, the reason why I rolled initiative is because your aggressive action is so that triggers an initiative because he could kind of see it happening. But I gave myself disadvantage because it was like a delayed reaction because he was drunk. So you're welcome to roll. You're doing an athletics check is what you're doing.
Got it. Okay.
Now, it's an opposed athletics check. You roll against me. Again, I'm drunk, so I'm going to gladly take disadvantage on this roll. And I sorry, but not to have your first action be a failure, but 8's really bad. So you make an athletics check. So you go to like shove the guy in the gut with the thing, and you do clip him. You do hit him in the gut. But the problem is he's still wearing armor, and so the armor took most of the impact. So it's kind of like ugh. Oh, you think you're cute, do you? Now you want to stand up and try to fight? Oh, if only you were there that day, he says, slowly drawing his sword. He's like, I could have just killed you back then. He goes, unless you want to do what your family did. Kneel. Just kneel. Because clearly we're the better ones.
Please.
If that's how we're playing now, then we're definitely going balls to the wall. All right, here it is.
Is there no one left in the tavern? Is it completely empty?
No, they're outside of the tavern. This is halfway between the tavern and the inn, and it's very late at night.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're attacking. That's what we're doing. Now I'm pissed off. And I let my anger kind of get the better of me, but we doing this.
He's technically what he's doing is just getting a defensive posture as he's kind of like doing. So you're gonna actually attack with disadvantage because he's dodging is technically what he's doing as he's goading you. But you're welcome to make your attack roll.
Do you quick question, Scott?
Rena? Do you remember how?
To attack roll? Yeah.
Top of the character sheet, you click the disadvantage button before you attack.
Oh yeah. That
Yes,
I have it on there.
I don't see your initiative roll whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't see those rolls.
Okay.
Yeah, all my rolls are behind that, but you just see the result automatically pings itself up there. Go ahead, Rena.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. It's the same result.
That really sucked.
Wow.
That really
was a natty
sucked.
20!
Put away in 20.
That could have been a crit, but it was not.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Rita. Oh, that's so painful. So, you go to attack, literally try to attack him this time, and he's drunk or whatever, so it's kind of stumbly. But he takes because he's so trained, he's gone through this motion so many times. Even when drunk, he's able to take the proper step back and hit your axe out wide. And as he hits the axe out wide, he takes a step forward. Again, it's somewhat stumbly, but takes a step forward into your guard, and then it has a sword up underneath your chin and over by resting, so up underneath your chin. It's not like a perfect set where he could just kill you or anything like that, but it's definitely set having you in a very precarious position. And he leans in, and his breath just eeks of booze. He went to cheap liquor because he found that somebody else wasn't paying. So it definitely smells of cheap booze. And this is old cheap booze, not like modern day cheap booze, which is still not technically horrible, just still gross. Anyways, reeks of it. And he's like, oh, you're lucky that if I spilled your blood today, that I would have to pay consequences. But don't worry. I could find you on the road. You could be attacking the wagon with that cute little hot temper of yours. Good night. He takes the sword away and sheaths it and goes to walk off, exposing his back completely to you, and says, dream of your family. I will.
Yeah, we trying to kill him.
You gonna attack him from behind?
I will. I have no qualms about it. Nope. I'm pissed off.
It's like,
That's illegal.
Oh, sorry. Did you think I pressed the good option in character creation? I did not click the good option. So you make your attack roll. No disadvantage, no advantage. Just you get your attack roll at him from behind.
Solid.
Oh my gosh,
You're
still the
kidding.
same roll.
You're absolutely joking.
One, one, one.
That's triple eights. Triple eights.
And we thought you were going to be the new Neil. We put you in this spot because we thought you were going to be the new Neil. So I'm so sorry, Rita. So you try to attack him from behind, and what it is you go swinging, and he hears an attack coming. Maybe maybe he hears it beforehand, maybe he hears it last second. You're not entirely sure, but he definitely does like a quick jump in that last moment, like a lunge forward, to get out of the way of the attack. And as he does that lunge forward, again, it's even though he's drunk, he's kind of acting off of these old instincts. As he does that lunge forward, he snaps the sword out of the sheath and spins around to meet you and says, "Oh, are we actually doing this?"
Started this, we'll finish this.
He shrugs and starts walking forward, kind of feeling bad, and goes to attack you with his sword. I have to get onto the right screen so I can see your character sheet. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong attack amount. Sorry. Cancel. There you go. You. So it's you with this modifier. And he's using a longsword. Oh shit! I keep forgetting. I never brought in my my APIs. I gotta pull those in here. That was a dummy. So then I just gotta do this and then do it the old-fashioned way. Well, that probably wouldn't have happened the other. I rolled a natty 1.
He is drunk.
So when I roll my attack rolls, Rena, I'm not even joking. When I roll my attack rolls, I roll 4 dice at once. Out of my 4 dice, I rolled 2 natty 1s and a natty 2. And my 4th roll was much higher. I actually got to snip this because it's absolutely hilarious, and I need to keep this because it is ridiculous. So
6 drinks in, that'll do it to you.
all right, cool. So anyways, you he attacks at you. And misses horribly. Actually, completely out wide. I'll allow you to describe the defense even.
I mean, it's so bad that I just kind of like lean back like a little. Not even like try. Like maybe I step back a little bit, but it's not really. Like he missed horribly.
Yep. Okay. So it's literally kind of like a lean back and it's out of the way, almost like an effortless defense.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you thanks, Steve. So he makes an attack roll. It's now your turn. I thought I was gonna own you for a second. You can attack? Huh?
Yeah.
There we go. Finally, a real chance to hit. All right, Rena. So finally, you make your attack, roll your damage, and we can describe it.
Okay, well after his like miss, he's kind of like down and I kind of like step to the side. So I kind of bring my axe up and like across like his back because that's kind of like the angle that I'm at, I guess.
Describe that one more time.
After he like swung and missed, I kind of sidestepped, but like also like kind of diagonally. So like now we're like a little bit diagonal from each other, and his back is kind of like there. I take my great axe up and like swing it.
Go right ahead.
And that's that's on roll 20, right?
Over in the chat window of roll 20, down where it says Great X 17, hit that button that says Great X.
Got it.
There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you do 10 points of damage, which is not a small amount. So you hit him for 10 points of damage, and kind of like your sideways out attack does this hard swing, and it literally kind of like leans back last second as it comes and does a deep cut across his face. So I'm going to cut across his face. Definitely is going to leave a permanent mark. There's no question about that. And so as he grabs at his face and he looks at you, and this is like one of those hard, sobering moments where he squints his eyes and says, "This is your last chance, little girl. I will kill you, and I will pay the consequences. It'll be worth it. Back the fuck off, or die."
Does she have to roll anything against intimidation there?
Nope.
Okay.
She gets to make the decision. She's a PC.
At this point, I so badly just want to finish him off, but after letting my temper kind of get the better of me, I feel like that's probably I've made my point with that attack. So I think it'd be wise to not attack again.
Okay. So you
kind of leave that reminder for him.
You kind of like lower your offensive guard, and he stands up and he's got his eyes are very narrow. His wavering step that he had beforehand seems to have faded. He's very much in the less and more in the I'm now at war mode. His eyes are very narrowed and steadied and so on and so forth. And one of his hands is still over his cheek. There's blood pouring between his fingers and whatnot. And he's just like locking his eyes on you. You can see that his hand on his sword is like white knuckled and everything. And it's very much like oh, you are fucking lucky we are in a town right now. And do you walk off? How do you leave it? Or do you continue standing there?
I would definitely wait for him. I would continue standing there and just kind of let him kind of walk off and lick his wounds, so to speak.
Okay. Then he will step forward, still sword in hand, hand on cheek. He still will step forward and say, sleep well. And then turn and walk off.
I just kind of watch him as he goes to make sure that he's like fully gone before like letting my guard down completely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and so you I just read the chat. So you make your way back to your own inn room, and when you get in there, again, you've already established because you had already planned to spend the night, so you already had a room set up. And it's funny because actually the innkeeper is going to come up to you as you're walking in. This is not the same person you dealt with earlier. Obviously, somebody else is kind of in charge at the moment. It's kind of you walking in. They're like, Rena.
I don't. What's up? I was like, sorry, I wasn't ready for a response there.
Hey, listen. So we had a caravan come through that we weren't exactly expecting, and the short version is they paid top coin to take all the rooms to house their people. That includes quadruple the price you paid for your room. So here's your coin back. Here's a refund. But we do have a stable, a barn where you can spend the night. That way you're not out in nowhere.
I think I'd actually prefer to be out, kind of like not even in the barn. I won't even stay in the barn. I'll be like, no, thanks for the offer, but I'm good on my own, and just kind of find somewhere out, maybe like in the surrounding forest or nearby.
Okay. And so you kind of like in the middle of the night, like 1, 2 in the morning, go walking off and trying to find a place for you to go and crash the rest of the night, having not drunk because you drank much lighter than the other douche, but a light buzz on you and a little blood on your blade. Find a place to crash the night, just for fun. No, not important. Just for fun. Roll me a survival check, just for fun.
Roll you a what now? Say it again.
Survival check, just for fun.
Survival.
Just for fun.
Just for fun, huh?
Cool. You find an awesome spot to spend the night. Totally no snakes. None. So you go crash the night. All right, my apologies. The next morning, messy. When you wake up, you are actually going to find a underneath, like over by your door. Clearly, something had been slid underneath your door.
Jesus Christ, this keeps happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is it morning? It's morning, right?
Morning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You went to sleep. What you find is that the local newspaper, the local printing of news that you would find from the Zatishk, printing of the news from Zatishk has actually been put inside your notice, and it has the news that the local commander is coming to this area to rest. To investigate the area, as you've heard before, and blah 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 blah. Right. But most importantly,
Today? That's what it says.
No. This is dated several days ago. My apologies, almost 2 weeks ago. It's news saying that this is going to be happening from back then, saying that it's coming up to this region for things to happen. So more or less, it's old news. News that not only did you hear from the travels.
They're supposed to come in today, the morning.
There's no specific date saying that they're coming to this region. Yeah, they don't have specific itinerary dates that go out. And it's way too advanced. So, but one of the things that you notice is that on that front page, when you see the commander's name printed the first time, it's circled in a red ink. Now, you know what that means, even though you've never actually received one of those messages before.
I do know what that means, but please remind me.
That's a target.
Right, of course, yes. Great.
Now,
well,
the fun news is you didn't work for assassins, so as a target, it's not like you're going to be murdering this person. It's they have something of interest on them. They have a valuable artifact on them. Now, it's clearly not the artifact that you're looking for, not the one that matters to you, but she needs you to get it for some reason, and you don't know why. It's part of the test, I guess.
Great. I'll like in my mind, I'll be like, well, I guess I better dispose of the evidence, right? Now, crumple it up, and I'll just put it in some water. I don't know, just like a water bucket, maybe my piss bucket. I don't care, just something wet.
Sure. I mean, it's old carbon printed, so it would bleed very easily. The paper is not very strong. So, anyways, and that's you can kind of go downstairs from there. We're gonna cut back to Ophios. Ophios next morning. You've rested. Blah. Your job. Find people that are willing to work with you.
I feel like Ophios would have rested outside the town in a giant snake pit, just like, hey, adders, lay across me, whatever. I don't give a crap.
Cuddle buddies!
Honestly, though, he probably would not have stayed in town because knowing that his disguise would come off, so he would have probably made his way after the meeting, made his way to like a secluded alleyway, almost like where the non-particulars would live, those that are, of severe poverty and things like that, and remained hidden in some dark corner somewhere, and obviously made it so that he would wake up early, so that he could easily disguise himself without any issue.
Okay. And so you easily find yourself a comfortable place. I'm not going to even have you roll a survival check. Specifically in this area, you're going to be very comfortable, right? So you easily make find a spot to do so, wake up nice and early in the morning, et cetera, and can make your way back into town.
All right.
The other two are also up and about and so on. What is your approach to try to find people to help you with this task?
He would probably try and find groups of people talking and listening in on their conversation, knowing that he has an idea that that the commander is arriving tomorrow or today or whatever it is, right, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Because
you do not know which day.
Okay, you just know it's soon.
Soon, very soon.
Yeah. Okay, so he would go to the normal places where people would talk. Taverns, groups in the marketplace, stuff like that. Anybody that would gossip or talk about anything, even under hushed tones, like if somebody gets pulled into an alleyway or a group is somewhere off kilter, he would kind of just wander through and kind of listen in to try and find people that might say their disinterest or something along those lines.
Roll me, actually, don't roll me. I can check something really quickly. So this is why we have passives. I just don't know what you guys' passive stats are.
My passive is 12.
Perception. So what you would find out throughout the course of the day is that there was actually a fight that had happened last night. So there's an older Peredhel guard. He's, like I said, you can tell he's older because his face has a bit more of like the elongation and high cheekboneness. His ears have become slightly more elongated, so on and so forth. So there's an older Peredhel guard that is talking about how he came across some female warrior earlier in the day, another Peredhel, but not like a real Peredhel born in Peredhel, but what, like a mudblood, one from out side of the country, that now that her land is taken, she's pretending to be here. But the way he tells the story, because he has this nasty wound on his face with like loose stitchings in it, and like it's gauze and whatnot having been padded there. Occasionally he picks like an alcohol rubbed rag and will tap it and like, So you've heard me tell the story about 5 times in small different portions because he's got a huge fucking scar on his face, and people are like, dude, that just happened. How did you get that poke? You know, and so you've heard the partial bits of the story, and you hear a description of like what this girl was like, but obviously it's a bit of an exaggerated story. The whole time, of course, talking about how she's just some awful this and awful that, so wannabe parent, so on and so forth, and how he can't wait for his opportunity to see her outside of the city because clearly she has a bone to pick with Perrin, and that very likely he's going to shove that bone up her nose. And
Ophios would be extremely intrigued by the wording of wannabe Perrin, and the fact that she fought another Perrin because he doesn't really like Perrin. We'll just put it that way. So he's very intrigued by the fact that this Perrin actually went after another Perrin, is looked down upon by other Perrin, which intrigues him at the likelihood of this unknown female being interested in his cause and what his mission is, without telling her, just interest in not being for this commander.
Rena, is there a specific location where your character would spend the next day prior to planning on leaving this region? If not, that's fine, because I got a location for you. Just see if there's something specific you think your character would do.
Probably not. I would be avoiding the tavern.
Okay.
Having a feeling that he'd go back there.
Of course. So I would actually see you swing by the merchant caravan because he doesn't need to guard something that's not actively on the road. And also, there could actually be supplies or things like that you're interested in. That's why you pop into town, just to get supplies. So you would actually be approaching the merchant's wagon, kind of like looking about and trying to find them. You would actually finally see her, Tyler, over looking at some wares that are over there. Funny enough, checking out those potions you had seen beforehand.
Ophius would go ahead and approach in not a super deceptive way. He's clearly got the Perrin on, and did he hear of her name whatsoever? He probably would have asked around to get more information as to who this might have been.
Actually, so roll me a diplomacy check if you want to know. I said diplomacy, I meant persuasion check if you want to know information.
Persuasion?
Investigation.
What about intimidation?
Oh, investigation actually worked. No, you were gonna tell me about her.
Okay. An investigation roll.
Investigation actually works as well. Thank you, Messi.
Okay. Darn it! Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, dude!
It was like it didn't even roll. It just like went.
Everybody that you ask in town is like, I don't know. I'm not from around here. I'm from that wagon. I'm from that wagon too, dude. She's at the wagon. Just ask her.
I'm from that wagon. That's where I came from.
So, Ophios would already be disguised as a Perrin, and subtly he would try to look like he's clearly shopping, but he's not looking to buy anything. It's not like he's putting on a persuasion of anything else, but he's just looking at stuff, making his way towards where this person is that he's interested in speaking with. And he's putting on his best fake voice, but it still has the weird like slurred S's every now and then, and like trying to sound as much like a normal parent as possible. So he's like, that's a nice thing it's got there. Maybe a next times. And then eventually gets over to Rena, and he doesn't know it's Rena, but bumps into her. It's on purpose, but
Ooh.
Not in a way that looks purposeful, like kind of like stumbles or trips or something like that.
Do me a favor, because it's not supposed to look purposeful. Roll me deception. She has no reason to believe otherwise, so I'll actually give you an advantage on that one. And Rena, roll me a insight.
Okay.
And you roll normal.
Yeah, good luck.
He redeemed his natty one.
Did I even roll?
So
Unless you get a
roll?
20, then yeah.
Wait, so what am I clicking on again? Sorry, I got
Insight.
distracted.
Well, she has to beat 25. So what's her insight bonus?
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah, so a natty 20 wouldn't even beat. Well, there. That works. I'm good with that.
So
What a
much
secret
red in this
success.
session so far. So, anyways, he bumps into you 100% on accident. You actually almost think it's your fault. Like you actually bumped into him. Like, oh.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
She's really from up north, eh?
If she thinks that she fell into him, he would try and look as if he actually fell on the ground, not like he would continue the falling motion.
To like fall all the way on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wait.
wow. I'm really sorry. Then let me help you up.
Wow. Playing that up.
Happily, he'd get up and say, "Thanks you." Excuse me. Are you the ones who hurt the guards last night?
Depends on why you want to know.
Merely I overheard the stories. It seems like he's a bit of a dix.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Dix is probably a good term for him.
Real quick, Scott, does Ophius have any knowledge of this land and the fact that it used to be owned by barbarians or anything like that, separate?
They were not barbarians. You do have that information. It's pretty commonly known. It belonged to Taziondale until sometime in the recent past. It was taken by. We're talking like in less than 10 years in the past. It was taken by Perrin.
And so
Inch by inch, they take.
Do I need to roll an insight? I'm trying to find out if you would recognize her gear as that of more of a local as opposed to.
Actually, yeah. Why don't you roll me a? Let me look at your character sheet too, because it's technically about the quality of her weapons, and whatnot. Would give you an insight on it. Investigation.
Investigation again. All right.
Roll 91 again. It's always fun.
No, I got a 9.
Okay, so you looking at the weapons, kind of looking them over. One of the things that you notice is they seem like Perrin weapons, like they look like Perrin weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So her armor, everything, it looks like standard military. Probably what people down here have used. There's some slight flair to it, some slight differences or whatever, but nothing really jumps out at you with only a 10.
Okay. So obviously he's not trying to hide that he's looking at her stuff, and he goes, well, he'd touch the weapon and say, is this the weapons that scarred his face?
I'm definitely not trying to hide it, so I'm like, yeah, this is that little antique that, left that nice souvenir on his face.
Yes. Beautiful gash, if you ask me.
Thank you.
Much deserves. So, what's happened exactly? He's made you out as the villains of the situations.
It's the same story that most paired women, I assume, would explain. In this case, I was minding my business in a tavern and definitely was bothered a little bit, so had to take things into my own hands.
But it was different, wasn't it? Because I'm assuming, overhearing his story saying she's a half parent, he would assume that it had other purpose other than him trying to hit on her.
Yeah.
But it was different than a normal parent, wasn't it? He wasn't just trying to sleeps with you, say.
He pushed a little harder than most.
A bits of agitations, perhaps?
What's it to you?
Trying to better understand the situations, for I have some things against them as well.
And what would those things be?
Again, much like you, until I knows more, I cannot share more.
I'd say perhaps we should take this conversation elsewhere so that, nearby people wouldn't really be able to eavesdrop.
Perhaps, but first, your interests in these liquids.
Oh, you mean the potions?
Yes.
Did you want some?
The guy holds one up and goes, "There's still 50 gold each."
I
He's been
just go
listening the
ahead
whole
and
time.
I'm just gonna go ahead and like kind of like picking up on the fact that he might like want a couple, and I'll just buy like 2.
It's 100. It's 100 gold, ma'am. You got that on you?
Yeah, some spare change.
He seems blown back and goes, "Oh, well." Gift wraps them, you know.
And not only he's not taken aback, but Ophios is really surprised. Nobody's ever bought anything for him or given him anything. Even in his training, it's literally it's the most beautiful thing you expect. So he doesn't understand this at all. He's just visibly like confused,
Question
almost
marks
like concerned,
everywhere.
like doesn't know how to react, sort of thing.
And his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
The Grinch now. I just we do our exchange. I pay for them and everything. He's still got question marks floating around, and I'm just like, shall we? With the potions.
Yes. He would just Ophios would follow behind, intrigued and very much even more interested in the fact that she just bought 2 potions with the thought of maybe him wanting one.
So then I guess we would just find somewhere a little more secluded to talk.
Yes.
Absolutely. So honestly, it's the great, like I said, it's not a very large town. So you definitely can make your way on the outskirts of the town and go talk anywhere over there. And it's a short walk. I actually do have a map for the town too. It just hasn't mattered yet. So you could go in the outskirts of the town and just chat.
Okay.
Like we're going for a walk, a little nature hike.
A bit taken aback by the purchase, Ophios kind of lets his guard down and goes, "So what do you think of this commandos?"
My apologies. Before you kind of jump into it, I would say,
sorry.
Messy, your character was, of course, over by the wagon. You don't really know anybody here. Probably want to avoid the awkward situation of that guy in the tavern because you did hear about the fight that had happened last night. You did hear that you abandoned him, and then all of a sudden his face got cut open. And you've heard the story, like people complaining about how many times he's told the story already this morning, even though they actually enjoy the story. Nobody's hearing the same thing said over and over and over again. And besides, you kind of find the guy to be a bit frustrating for some reasons. And so you were over by the wagon anyways, the caravan anyways. Overheard a bit of the conversation, same as the guy with the potions did as well. Did that pique your interest at all, or no?
I mean, if she's the guy who cut my guy, I gotta know more. It's maybe to thank her. Who knows? Yeah.
So would you slink along behind them, being all stealthy, sneaky, or would you want to?
Well, how much did I hear? Really? Like, did I hear the whole thing, or
a good portion of it?
a good portion?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's I got nothing better to do. I'll tail him.
You'd slunk.
You need me to roll stealth?
Roll me a stealth, boy. All you have to do is beat their passives, and you do.
That's
Is that true? Because Ophios, all right, fair. He let his guard down a little bit. He's not trying to keep.
You did say that.
There's
Let's
difference between
Yeah.
actively looking and being aware of your surroundings. Passive is
Yeah.
like you look at, but versus like, you know what I mean. So you're gonna follow along now. At this point, Messy, you're gonna have to roll me a perception, not yet, to see how much you hear before you can jump
Okay.
in. I'm gonna let them start talking.
Ophios probably wouldn't start talking until they got to a spot and he looked around. I'm being completely honest. Ophios is paranoid as heck.
Of course, you guys would like you said beforehand. Your character was borderline going to kill another snake because he wouldn't show his sigil. So
Exactly.
So you would
Exactly.
you would go to a spot where you felt as though you were a bit more removed from everywhere else and everyone else, and that's fine. Maybe the way you spent the night, snakes around.
Snake pit.
The snakes aren't around. That was a joke I was making. How dare you, Scott?
Listen,
Oh,
I
that's
don't
canon.
want to
That's
step on your
canon.
orgies, so you can roll me a perception check, sir.
All right. All right, I don't see you, Messy.
Should I re stealth?
Nope.
Or?
You guys can
No,
start
you
your
gotta get
conversation.
A bit taken aback, Ophius would have looked around, but he let his guard down, so he would immediately just get into almost directly just being like, "What's your thoughts on these commanders coming into towns?"
I'm definitely less in a hurry to just kind of jump into it. So I kind of find somewhere, maybe like a nearby like log or stone or something to sit on, and I just kind of put one of the potions down next to me and the other one in my bag and just kind of look up. And I kind of respond and say, there's something that happened in my past that kind of connects me to these commanders.
As mines.
It's a little gruesome and something I've often avoided, but
His
He
eyes
gave-
widen for gruesome.
he gave me a cruel reminder, and under my, or despite my better judgment, I kind of let that get the best of me. And that's really all there was to it.
So, Swoods once wants to extract revenge? Question mark.
Question. Justice.
Same things as far as I'm concerned. What's if I told you I knew of something that was to happen, and we could allow your justice? I'm surprised the accent hasn't been asked about. Honestly,
It's only because she's keeping it in the back of her mind, but it's because she kind of noticed it at the tavern previously, and she kind of recognizes who it is, but didn't really.
Oh, that's another thing, Scott. Quick question. With disguise self, could I make myself look different? Because Ophios would also do that every day.
Technically speaking, you can look like, with that spell, you can look like anybody that you've encountered beforehand. I just realized I was still in combat music. Haha. So, technically speaking, you can make yourself look like somebody that you've seen beforehand. You know what I mean? No problems.
I'm guessing the guy she fought was not the guard of the merchant trade, or was it?
It was.
Okay, so I'd seen him. So I just look like somebody else I saw in the town that I picked up that it was a traveler. So I don't look the same, Rena.
Okay, so you don't look the same, but
No.
Well,
the accent is definitely.
here's also another question too. Your transformation. You don't have to transfer anything but like your shoulders and head, and your shoulders probably covered by clothing anyways. Would you just transform your face, or would you transform everything?
I would just transform my face.
Okay. Gotcha.
Unless I saw a reason, like there was like my guy, if he had a tattoo or something, he would cover it up or something like that. Other than that, it would
or
just
if they
be
were
his
looking for
shoulders
somebody
and
with a red cloak, and all of a sudden you have a gray one.
Correct.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, that's perfectly fine. So Rena, you would see somebody that's dressed similar to the person as the day beforehand, but clearly has a different face. The clothing was generic enough that it wouldn't really stand out for you, and your perception check wasn't like so incredibly high that I'm gonna like give you crazy details that would stand out. Besides, it was dark, it was late, you were drinking. You know what I mean? You probably haven't put two and two together.
Wasn't really noticing.
Yeah.
I forget the last thing that you said.
Basically, I offered you the opportunity that if there was a plan for revenge, if I could place you in a point to be able to extract that justice, you were so inclined of perhaps wanting.
I think I would break the conversation off a little bit and pause and look and say, where are you from? Because you're obviously not from around here.
This is the north.
Just the north, huh?
Yes. In the mountains. Our residents had no such names.
Well, seeing as I gave you a little bit of info about my background, what's in it for you?
I had mentioned similarly before. He said similar things. I was harmed, so to speak, by such a person.
Deciding not to like push anymore, I don't really sense any danger, especially not like the battle that I had last night. And intrigued, I say, okay, what is the event that is to take place that you have knowledge of?
Plans are in place. Perhaps an ambush on the travelers as they reach town or just outsides of towns.
And beyond that?
We aims to harms and instigates weakenings of forces. That's all he would say. He's trying to be as vague as possible.
Right, and obviously she senses that. So, but she catches enough of, his drift, so to speak, to kind of go along with it and see where it goes, because there's definitely a lot in it for her. So she nods and just kind of says, all right then. Stands up.
He's sitting there. He looks at you and eyes the potion on the ground, still confused as to whether that's with him, because once again, this is something he's never experienced. So he keeps looking at you and looking at the potion, kind of like in a questioning look. He might even tilt his head, because that's what snakes would do, is kind of tilt their head, confused. So, which might be unusual for a parent, but he looks at you and then he just kind of tilts his head and looks back at the potion and looks back at you.
I'm just like, well, go on, take it. It's yours.
He would like almost like signaling like he would for his like Thonk does in the other campaign. He puts his fist to his chest, almost like it's actually, he wouldn't put it like to his chest. He would put it to his actual faction marker and sort of bow and say, many thanks. One is unused to kindness.
Take it as a totem of good faith.
And as a return of favor, he would give in return do a little magic trick with his prestidigitation. He would just kind of go
The little flare.
Just kind of like it would be like a fairy that dances around you or something like that. Something that he would have seen from his home place in the mountains. So just something that he would think you would perceive as friendly with well-known of the parent kind. So like a fairy flies around you.
So I kind of look at it, trying to hide my like excitement, because I'm like, oh my god, okay, stoic. I'm like watching it around, and I'm just kind of like, all right. Well, thank you for that.
Messy, perception check.
So Daelric, we were talking a lot in the Discord and in the Twitch chat. I'm sorry, and I missed some of that conversation. I'm sorry, Tyler. Did you mention that you were after the commander?
Yes.
In that conversation?
And also before Rena left, he would also mention, keeps your eyes on the snakes. And also he would ask of your name.
Oh,
What's
that's true.
what's your names?
Rena.
Oh, kinds ones. I go by Ofe. Trying to like hide that his actual name, he changes it to something. Ofe.
I'm just like, okay, Ofe. Until next we meet.
Cease. And he would go over to the potion and kind of look at it in glee, and as you walked away. All right, now to you. Messy.
Okay,
sorry.
So now I roll perception, right, to see how much I heard.
I hope you roll a 1 and we just be pathetic.
Oh, an 11. I was like, oh, that's close.
Yeah.
Two ones.
Yeah, so you actually hear about half of what they talked about, so probably
Key points. Do you want?
what you actually did just hear. You know what I mean? So
what I know as a player.
exactly?
Oh, that's
It
perfect.
kind
That
of
works
like
out
lines
great.
up perfectly. My apologies, just yawned. So it probably lines up perfectly for where it is that you just heard. So it was what you understood. Would you at any point in time interject? Are you gonna stay hidden, and then
Oh,
come
I'll
back?
wait for them to finish. I assume you guys. This is like in an alley somewhere, right?
No. They had gone out of town.
You guys are out of town. Okay.
Correct. And went for a bit of a nature walk. Stopped, looked around,
And then started talking.
started talking.
Okay. So I guess I would be hiding somewhere, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
So when you guys are done, I'll come out of my hiding spot. I'll do the scarce thing and come out from behind the tree.
I was
And
gonna say, please be in a hollow tree.
and I'm gonna be holding a sandwich. And the sandwich is half eaten. I was eating it while I was listening, and that's the reason why I wasn't really paying attention.
Did you come out towards where Rena was walking, or
Like right
Like
as she
the-
turned to walk away.
Yeah, well, the path that you guys took from the town was where I was. I followed you guys almost directly.
okay?
Like here's
So
a tree,
I'm-
here he is.
so I'm
and I walk
basically-
past, and then he comes out.
So I'm basically in between you guys and the town, right? But
Mhm.
a lot closer to you guys, right? And I'm holding a sandwich. There's several bites taken out of the sandwich, and I'm wiping away some mayonnaise.
This is so important. What kind of sandwich is it? It's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
It's got lettuce in it.
Is it like
Lettuce, tomato, lettuce,
it's like
tomato,
it's like
turkey.
an MLT, like a mutton, lettuce, and tomato, with a mutton is
Yeah,
just
sure.
so.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that works. Yeah. So it's got some crunch to it, right? So maybe when I was crunching down, I missed some of the conversation. That explains it, right? So I come up around the corner and I'm wiping away some sauce. Cool lisp. Listen,
Wait, are you talking to me?
yeah, I'm talking to you.
Cool
Okay.
lisp.
You're lucky because he would be facing away from where you appeared from, so it would somewhat startle him, but it's not like you walked out in front of him like all
I'm
of a sudden.
holding a sandwich, dude. Like I'm not a threat.
It doesn't matter. Ophios is on edge constantly.
He doesn't even have a weapon.
So, she send you guys two? Yeah, like the red circle.
You were listening.
Yeah, it's what we do, right? Come on.
Ophios would actually. Do we need to roll initiative because he's about to cast hex on him?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Don't forget to highlight your mini.
I got him highlighted. Darn it, Yondis!
But he doesn't know it's about to go down.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I'm not. My turn gets skipped. I guess.
Actually,
because I'm
Yondis,
not-
what you see is that he grabs at an amulet hanging around his neck. Describe that amulet for me, please, Tyler.
From the naked eye, it's just black, absolutely pure, darkest, almost like darkest mineral you've ever experienced. Just
like
pure,
onyx, like real
pure
dark.
black.
Okay.
But if he was to look closer, you would see as the light hits it, a different color shines through. For those that, if you're interested, those watching, look up black opal.
Okay.
All right, I'm just checking my my skills because I thought or a trait. Sorry, I thought I had a trait that would stop this spell, but I don't. It's for something else. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I'd see him start casting, right? Is what you were saying?
Yeah. So feel free to react. I don't know if you use words or throw your dagger at him.
Is he casting through the amulet?
He
Is that why
grabs the amulet to start getting it to it's his focus item for casting.
So I'm swallowing. Wait, hold on. No need for that, please. But that's
He
all
would
I'm gonna
still
do.
cast. He
Yeah,
would still cast. I'll go ahead and put it in chat, or I'll cast it. So, can he resist it?
No.
Okay. And once again, he would go after wisdom.
Okay.
Or
So
actually, wait.
disadvantage on wisdom.
He would actually go to charisma. He doesn't want to be deceived.
Oh, okay. So disadvantage on charisma. All right.
Yeah, charisma skills.
Okay.
And he would immediately go to intimidate, and say, "Why is you follows us?"
Man, I'm eating a sandwich.
Use words, listen.
Look, I think maybe I got the wrong people. All right, my bad. I heard you guys talking about the commander, and you slashed up my guard, so I figured maybe you were on the same side as me. But if you don't want to talk, that's cool. I'll just finish this alone.
Your guard.
Yeah, my guard. I heard you. He was at the bar, right? I was supposed to meet him there. I didn't. I don't like him.
Well, thanks for that.
I mean, he's not a very good, representation for, for my troop. What's your name, by the way? I'm Yondis.
Beyond that, Ophios interrupts. What's your meanings behind listenings?
I'll tell you the truth. That's fine. Look, we're after the same guy. You see, I got this letter this morning, right? From Thieves Guild. Sent me a letter. Same guy, same name, circle in red ink. Do you know what that means? You from around here? Okay, it means I gotta find this guy, right? I gotta find him. You guys are looking for him. I'm looking for him. Maybe you're not the right group, but maybe we can help each other out. What do you think? What's your opinion? I'll take a bite.
As he's chewing his sandwich, I kind of look over to Ophios or Ophe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think this guy really means too much harm.
Picking up on Rena's look, Ophios would somewhat let his guard down a bit, but not really. It would appear he relaxed a little bit, but he's still ready to strike.
By the way, I'm just answering chat question. I'm civilized. I chew with my mouth closed. Keep going.
So, and he'll acknowledge that, and so knows. What's your purpose at the command, sirs? And what knowledge do you have?
I mean, look, man, between you and me, usually means I'm supposed to kill him, but that's not really my thing, You ever kill someone?
Out here looking for assassins?
I never killed someone.
Ophios looks at Rena to see how she reacts to killing him, although he already kind of talked about that. He's trying to pick up on what this dynamic right now.
Exactly, Daelric. That's it. Wait, killing me?
I kind of just like, I'm like, no, I think he seems harmless. Like, I'm
the commander. Wait, hold on.
No, I'm trying to see how you react to him saying usually that means kill them. I'm looking for Rena's reaction to that.
To what you said about killing, yeah. And I kind of look back and I'm like, no. Like, he might be saying that, but yeah. I mean, look at this guy. Like, there's no way. He's got a sandwich. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. You hungry?
Well, if
I've got a spare. Maybe.
Don't mind if I do. Girls got.
Yeah, sure. And I'll pull out my spare sandwiches that I bring with me all the time.
Then I just start. Sorry, I was gonna say that we just start sharing a sandwich.
Yeah, so I'm holding it out while I'm eating mine. I'm like, come on.
What you guys don't know is he actually has the sandwiches lined with iocane powder, so like.
That'd be a good idea, but I don't know.
I mean,
this is how I kill everyone.
Ophios wasn't gonna go forward for it. Like the response I was looking for, Rena, was how you reacted to him saying normally that means he wants to kill the commander. And
what I would say to that. I thought you meant more like I was like.
No. You were reacting to him already. I wanted to see how your reaction was, even though we had kind of alluded to the idea of harming them. I never specifically said killing, so I didn't know if that was against Rena's core nature, which is what Ophios is curious about, because he plans to kill.
Yeah. Oh, I think when you said harm, I definitely caught your drift in that. Like, yeah, we're probably.
So I was like, no surprise.
We're gonna take him out. So okay. I wasn't really. It didn't really take me aback or anything like that. I was just kind of like, oh, we're kind of on the same page, which is why I'm so like nonchalant about his like presence now.
Yeah, and at that point, Ophios would keep his guard up, but he would approach.
So you guys aren't with the guild then? Just on your own time, you're gonna kill someone for free? You sure?
We have our purposes.
I'm sure. Yeah, just not with the guild, though, huh?
Would I be able to recognize that he's more well dressed with rich, fine clothing, like a nobleman or
that's
anything
easy.
like that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, but you'd also be able to tell that clearly he's been on the road for a long while. Because road just wears down your clothes, covers them in dust and dirt and stuff like that. The bottom of your clothes are always dirty. He hasn't really had a time to get everything laundered yet. You know what I mean? It's kind of a small town, so on and so forth. So
would it be safe to say Ophios might perceive it as being like somewhat of a disgraced noble?
Maybe. Actually, maybe. You don't know his story, you know?
Yeah. So,
I mean, you could probably make that assumption.
Kind of how he would assume.
Messy, live your truth, okay? Live your truth.
Because it's really interesting the fact that he wants to kill somebody who also is supposedly a Perrin. And so I'm very intrigued. Ophios is very intrigued by the fact that all of a sudden he has these two Perrin that are against the Perrin and is completely confused as to why, and is just he's intrigued. So he's wondering he would assume that he is somehow disgraced from his noble position.
However, Rena, what you see is two Perrin that want to kill Perrin, and it makes sense. And Messy, what you see is two Perrin that want to kill Perrin, and it makes sense. So it's really confusing for you because you're like, for someone, I'm not actually a Perrin.
Yeah, so it's something you still haven't picked up on. So I'm keeping myself hidden. Mm-hmm. That's Ophios. So
I mean, from my perspective, it, like you said, it makes sense for me. Like, they both have their reasons, obviously. Yondis I'm a little bit more curious about, because I'm like, is that really it? Is that really all you got to do? Is like somebody gave you like a quest, you're gonna fulfill it and then go get some more sandwiches? Or like,
you can ask me about
basically?
It. Do you want to ask me about it?
Yeah, well, I wanted to, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
so.
Feel free, Rena.
Yeah, go ahead, Rena.
So, I turn to you like after like, a couple sandwich bites, and I'm like, so what are you really getting out of this? You're really just fulfilling some quest that was thrown at you?
I don't really get a choice, when you're part of a guild, when you go against what the guild wants, you're against the guild, and that's not really a good look for someone that, sees these people often, or not so often for me, currently, but you get the idea, right? It's like,
so
it's like telling your dad that you hate him, right? It's like, that sucks.
That sucks.
Ophios would acknowledge, and he says, I understand.
Thank you. Cool. But again, are you noble? Well, a lot of nobles have this kind of similar lisp kind of thing. It's like a high class thing. Just wondering if you're, maybe you were no. Okay, we'll move on. I'm sorry.
he would just look at you completely confused. He might even like less of a head tilt as to the questioning thing, but just kind of like a slight like taken aback, head back, slight tilt. Like,
I don't mean to offend, really. I just.
So.
Already offered. Sorry.
Yondis, your whole purpose is self-preservation, then?
Life stories are long, right? This is, just, in the wilderness, talking about killing someone. So, maybe in the future I'd be more open about that kind of discussion. But, yeah, you guys feel like getting drunk?
Ophios once again, this time kind of narrows his eyes, almost like assuming Yondis is trying to get them drunk to get them loose-lipped. Because Ophios, everything has a purpose. It's not done for fun. It's not done for thing. Everything is purposeful.
I take it more of a like, he's just awkward. And I'm just like, okay, like that's fine.
Ooh,
let's head.
The question is, does Rena realize that is how he actually is? And I mean out of game, not in game.
I mean, I can... Yeah. It's an extension of it's an exaggeration of myself, for sure. Yeah.
I'm just teasing you, Messy.
It's true, though. It's true.
So before embarking, if Rena had decided to do that, Ophios would say, what can you add to the conversation that you so willy-nilly invited yourselves to listen to?
The snake knows willy-nilly.
I do want to apologize. I'm not the most polite noble, you could say, right? So if my manners offend you, I can try to be all uppity like my family, if you like that.
Unamused, Ophios waits for his answer.
Crickets in the back.
Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want.
What's is in it for use other than the guilds? Do you have informations that can add to perhaps the plans that could be in place?
How far away from the town, Daelric? How far is this?
Honestly, we're talking a few hundred miles. Well,
Miles.
Few hundred feet. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like because again, the town itself, the center of the town is small, so you're just like along a road. You know, it's like you take you a couple minutes to get back. Quarter mile.
And Ophios is assuming he heard the entire conversation, FYI.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what, like a 5-minute walk away from out of from the edge of town?
Yeah, nothing crazy.
You guys walked all the way over here and didn't even notice me, and you're asking me what I can offer, really?
Ophios at that feels threatened and grabs at his hilt for his falchion.
I'll lean back and be like, oh, dude, just all right, look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Look, I'm a sneaky guy, okay? It's a thieves guild. It's what we do, right? And, I've been trained in this. I work for the guild. The guild's not really known to be like a pushover group, right? Like, we're a freaking guild. We're thieves. This is what we do, right? So I can help. I can break into stuff. I can steal things, sneak around, punch a few guys. I got a dagger. I'll take out my dagger and wheel it around, put it back. I haven't killed anyone, but it's not necessary. You guys could handle that, right?
I really want you to just like accidentally hit your like bag and the potion that I gave Ophius like fall out. Like you pickpocketed him on the way.
That'd been funny, but I didn't. You can check your bag if you're like,
He won it. He's had his eyes peeled watching you the entire time. So he's still awaiting for you to say something to add to the conversation. This time he's a little more aggressively holding onto his falchion, waiting for you to add information that he may not know.
As he's kind of like looking at him, and you're probably getting a little like tight under the collar. Like, oh, a tough crowd. There's a moment that happens when you hear, all of you guys hear more perceptive at first, the others afterwards, like as like a snake kind of like makes its way along the side of the road for a moment, kind of like slithers out and into view for all three of you for a moment. And it's not a small snake, it's a decent sized one, and then slithers back out of view again and off into the woods, clearly catching everybody's eye.
Ophios wouldn't even flinch, wouldn't even seemingly acknowledge it.
Okay. One of the things to note is that obviously you guys have all seen the adders that are in the area. The pattern and everything of the snake is very different from the adders.
I think I would definitely notice, especially after what Ophius just said about keeping an eye on the snakes before Yondis came up.
I did say that.
So I'd kind of like, my eye would wander in that direction, like as they're kind of finishing up their conversation, but I'd kind of be like, guys.
He probably wouldn't even notice that, Rena, because he's focused on Yondis, so Ophios doesn't react. So I don't know how Rena would take that, the fact that Ophios didn't react, but you would probably see that his eyes had twitched and seen the snake, but just went immediately back to Yondis.
Yeah, and I would, if you hadn't taken any interest, then I'd kind of just like look and then, all right, not really paid any other mind.
So what do you want, like a card trick?
No. I expects yous to answers as I relates. What informations do you have?
I just get told
may
this
adds to this conversations. Perhaps you know whens they would arrive. Perhaps you knows others that may be of assistance. Perhaps there is something you may add other than me slicing your heads off.
Information. Oh, I mean, you already know the guy, right? You know who you're looking for.
I mean, simple fact, none of you guys have any more information than the vague information you have thus far. I mean, Tyler's character has the most, knowing that there are scouts already in the area. Nobody else even knows that.
Yeah, so I'm essentially intimidating. He's not necessarily going to strike. The point is, he's rising up, trying to threaten you to see if you'll add to it, because he's upset that you snuck in on him.
It's like
but he's also intrigued by the fact that you're against him and understands your purpose, so he doesn't want to kill you. He sees use. It's literally just the fact that you're not
real life torture tactics. Give me information. I don't have information. Breaks a toe. Give me information. I don't have information. Breaks a toe. Give me information. All right, so the bad guy is actually my uncle. I don't believe you. Breaks a toe. What?
Yeah. Ophios is just intimidating, basically at this point. If there's anything that can be added.
Look, I don't know anything more than name and gonna be here soon. All right, okay. I got sandwiches though.
At that, he calms down and takes the sandwich and bites it, and then goes, "You seem all right."
Daelric, when he bites into the sandwich, do I notice anything strange?
You mean about the way that he bites? That's actually not a bad question. It's an investigation check, technically.
I tricked you with the sandwich, huh? I kind of don't want to find out this soon, so I'm gonna...
Oh, if you found out this soon, he would kill you.
Investigation, you said?
Yeah.
Did I find out?
It's a really good show. You would notice that when he eats the sandwich, like, he takes the sandwich and he eats it. Like, clearly you see the mouth go, nom, eats the sandwich. It just looks a little off, the way he eats it. And Ophios isn't an idiot. He knows how to angle things better. So, like, when you see it coming on, it's like, the way he brings it to his face is to, like, kind of play up the way the illusion can compensate for the fact that he's actually got a big mouth. Because that snake's mouths are like their whole head
he's
versus
chewing
so
a little weird, or maybe not enough.
Is the initial bite that's actually just seems a little off? It just seems a little odd to you, but nothing that's like, oh no, I know that. You know, it's just the bite seems, but his chewing looks perfectly fine. Everything else seems, and he holds the sandwich fine. It's literally just whenever he goes to take a bite, it just seems slightly off, but nothing that would be alarming. Like for instance, I would not have described it this much, and there would be no inkling if you didn't already know that he was a snake with a. You know what I mean? Like, you already know. The cat's out of the bag. Yeah. So it would be a lot more subtle than that if you didn't already know.
I'll be like, man, this guy's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a second one?
He would just look at you just kind of oddly, again, really confused, much like when Rena bought a potion, that he's being offered more food after being offered initially. It seemed to, like, be a persuasive tactic to calm him down. So he is bewildered right now. Ophios does not understand kindness or people being this way.
So you give me the weird look, and I'm like, I don't know. You seem hungry. All right, I'll drop it. Jeez, man.
Ophios would respond, "No, don't drop it. That's a good sandwich."
Yeah, I wasn't really. Just take it. Just take the sandwich. I held it out to him. Just hurry up, please.
He just kind of looks. He grabs it, and it's kind of like his eyes just get really big, and just keeps looking at you and looking at the sandwich, just like, okay. And then
this time I'm like really not gonna watch
his bag.
This is weird.
He doesn't eat it. He puts it away. He saves it.
Okay. I don't care. I'm just like, all right, you do you.
By now, I've finished my sandwich, and I'm kind of just like looking at both of you. Like,
all right. Enough about sandwiches, guys. We got a mission.
So nobody has ever heard a description of Messie's character, and I don't want to hear one yet. I imagine he's got quite the pot belly because he keeps a lot of sandwiches on. He didn't know he was going to be giving away sandwiches, and he's already had four on his. No. You had assumed you needed the 4 sandwiches you had packed away. You had assumed you needed the 4. You go, old belly going on.
I had exactly 4 sandwiches. But they were half sandwiches, so really it's only 2 sandwiches.
Messi, okay. I eat a lot.
I carried a sandwich for the guard that got his face cut up because I thought I was gonna have to do some smoothing over with him. But oh, I'm sorry I didn't get those drinks. Here's a sandwich, But instead,
Messy, I'll eat a large cheeseburger sub the works.
I'm not-
finish my wife's Chipotle burrito and then get ice cream.
right,
and
look.
I don't walk around with 4 sandwiches on me. I'm just saying.
Yondis and Daelric are two different characters. Okay,
Just saying.
Hey,
completely different motives here.
let's go real lore here. I'm pretty sure Perrin have a pretty solid metabolism.
It's true. That's true.
Also, I'm rich. I can carry sandwiches.
I don't care if I gotta throw them away.
What if
feed
I
them to
get
the
hungry?
birds. I feed them to the birds.
Yeah, birds need to eat too.
All right, my apologies. Jokes aside, keep going.
What are we doing?
At this point, Ophios would respond to Yondis and just be like, "Pay attention to the snakes. I will send for you when I have more information."
Is that like a joke about the lisp?
Ophios would not respond. He'd just kind of look at you confused, but also like not super confused, just kind of like, was that a dig at him? Not understanding it. Just kind of just stagnant there, just paused, looking at him.
You mean like real snakes?
I'm just kind of like, yeah.
Wait, you could like talk to snakes?
No, yeah, he means literal snakes.
I was wondering if Rena was going to remember that and maybe think this is the same person that looks different. I was waiting to see if that happened, but
Oh, well, I thought
so far
about
it
it when
didn't.
he brought it up, but I didn't want to press him.
Okay,
further.
yeah, that's right, you did, but it didn't. He wouldn't have noticed you noticed that. So, he would then Ophios would walk away, not towards town, actually away from town.
Does he do that? Look at Arena.
Yeah, I guess so. Just kind of take off and follow him.
Man, what a weird guy.
If Rena was following him, he would notice and just look over and kind of look to say, "Hold back, I'll send for you," sort of thing.
So then I kind of just nod and let him go on his own, kind of leaving us behind.
Okay. So
What do you want?
I thought.
I'm not looking at a snake. I'm looking at a cat.
So essentially, Rena and Yondis are left behind.
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, wait. Ophios would have asked Yondis for his name before he left as well.
Oh.
I keep
Oh,
forgetting that.
Yeah.
Yondis.
Cool. That was it.
What do you want? Shut
So
up.
Rena and Yondis left behind. Where do you go to Ophios?
He's having seen that big snake go by. He's hoping that big snake will follow him and not go after them to converse about having found some people.
Exactly that happens. And so when the snake, you meet with the snake again, you can stay in your form. And the snake is inside its snake form. Will speak to you and say, "It seems as though you acted quickly and found a couple of servants."
Of course, I am the Slayers after all. Again, showing his faction sign. Because as far as he's concerned, that's the highest class of faction there is.
Very well then. So, we have two options here. We can kill his scouts and lessen his numbers for when he arrives. But he will come with a bit of an alarm. He will know something is amiss. Or we can allow his scouts to rejoin with him, and the numbers will be greater. But the drop will be ours.
Perhaps we kill some and make it look as if adders were at fault. That might not alert him.
Well, I will leave the task to you. I've seen the scouts just a few hours past. You will head southeast, and you will find them there. I chose southeast because there's more S's.
Of course.
Realistically, it should be northwest. Like if you look at the map of where it is, northwest.
It should be northwest.
It should be northwest. I wanted to say something, so he actually says northwest.
You can do northwest.
Yeah.
You just add an S at the beginning of any word. It happens.
Northwest.
And Ophios would just continue on in that direction.
And so he says, make sure you gather the other two to assist you with this.
For the scouts' nose.
Hanslets alone?
Of course. Unless they are groups togethers. Should be nose issues.
He just, and then, slithers off.
And after he'd slither off, Ophios would look for an adder and tie separate notes to them. One to Rena, one to Yondis. And sends to them saying he is going to be gone, but will return within the day. Right? Is that about the distance he would know,
Yep.
Scott?
Yep.
Okay. So.
No problem. So you could separate from them, and you can go for the distance to that and whatnot. So why don't we really quickly? I'm actually going to show this little map because nothing else here. So what I can do really quickly is I can actually bring you guys, because the players haven't seen this as well as the viewers haven't seen this yet. And here's actually the map of the region that you guys happen to be in. And so the reason why I wanted to show this is because it's actually a little important, because Rena specifically. So Rena, as you know, your character kind of grew up in this region, and because of that, all those areas that are marked as green are marked as like known areas. There's ways that you can explore areas and make them known areas to your characters, and there's certain benefits of that, as you know from like literally your backstory, your background. A little feature there, Gorilla, I think it's called. Gives you benefits when you're inside known areas. So the green spots happen to be known areas. Towns that happen to be neutral are white. As you see Addersfield, Cursvault, and Talion on the map currently. Then there's like red and blue. Rena, in your backstory, there was Adlama. That's what you can see right there. There's little markers in the cities too that have pertinence that don't really matter right now. But what's important to note is that your character happens to be in Addersfield. And this is why I said it makes sense that you'd be northwest, because northwest is actually where the border is. So you'd be heading over in this direction right here for where you're doing your quick little scout. Last thing that's important to know, because these maps are done exactly the same way that I'm doing my maps over on Kingmaker. If you happen to watch the other Aurorum game, that the two same world, same timeline, etc., etc. Each hex is 12 miles. So it's actually like very easy, like I was saying to you, Tyler, just now, for you to travel over to where it is that the scouts are going to be and be able to come back, so on and so forth. Anyways, so your character is going to be going over there. Why don't we just take another quick little break, and we'll come right back and jump right into it in case anybody has to pee or whatever. So see you guys in just a moment. Bye-bye.